Is for the Bitcoin price another major pump going to happen just as we saw it from 4,000 to 14,000? Because according to Eric Krohn, a major indicator has just recently fired up, which has also fired up back in the days when we saw the price from 4,000 to 14,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. So now, without any further ado, we want to get straight into it. But first of all, the most important question of today. Eric Krohn, how are you doing today, my man?
Hey, what's up, Chris? Good to be back here with the family. My God, man, met a ton of cool people from this community. I mean, I just love the interplay between all of like our kind of like friend group within the YouTube community, and just it kind of promotes the exact type of person that I want to be surrounding myself with. So once again, pleasure to be here, my friends. And without further ado, I suppose we get into it.
Let's pull up the charts. Also, big shout out from us because your fans are also beautiful, man. So nice. I mean, it is so great to see all the love in the comment sections always. It's like another type of person watching these videos rather than on fitness videos or anything crazy other stuff. It's just like another type of guy watching it.
Alrighty, so to address the opening statements, while that was a very, very lovely introduction, I should mention that this same indicator that yes did foreshadow this move from 4,000 to 14,000 is direction neutral, and it actually also foreshadowed this move from 6,000 all the way down to 3,100 right on over here. So this is just telling us that we are looking at a major move coming up. And what am I looking at? It is called volatility. If you're not familiar with volatility, it's a mean reverting indicator. It's set to expand, and it is getting damn low right now, historically speaking. We've been downtrading on this for the last 2 months, really, ever since our highs at 14,000. Actually, even called the top at 14,000 if you read it like this. And the more low that we get on this, the more low that we get, the more and more it implies that the explosion out of this current formation is going to be absolutely violent. I mean, again, putting into context, what we saw right on over here was the last example. And then, of course, the example before that, a little bit more of a diabolical one, but both foreshadowing some pretty massive moves. And as traders or as analysts or as investors, whatever it might be, the way to kind of judge this now is to match it up with some momentum oscillators and then also just general formation. So if I go on over here to a fresh chart, you'll notice that everyone's looking at the same thing, right? We're all looking at this as one massive symmetrical triangle here, right? Everyone's looking at the same damn thing. It's no secret. It's all well and good. Trust your symmetrical triangles, but the thing is that because we now have something, historical volatility percentile telling us that a major inflection point on the market is approaching, we could say that the resolution of this triangle is likely going to affect the next half year of price action, I'd imagine, just like this one, affected the last 6 months, and the one before that, about 4 to 5 months of price action being precipitated from that. So what I'm looking for now to kind of judge if this is going to be the good resolution as opposed to the bad resolution is I want to see Bitcoin regain this 11,000 area right here. That would start to make this whole formation look a lot more healthy. And of course, that would still not do it fully and formally. We still need to see back above, I would say conservatively speaking, about 12,200 to 12,300 right here. Then I would actually be targeting a move towards 15,000 and likely beyond over time. 20,000 becomes, on the table once, on the table as like a discussion point. Once again, of course, it's always on the table. By the same token, though, there is certainly a downside risk here. And if we do break below what I'm looking at as the cyan moving average right here, that's an 89 exponential moving average, which has been holding up this whole run the whole way through, and also confluent with the bottom support trend line of this triangle. Then we could be targeting a move all the way down to the 618 Fibonacci retracement on this whole run right here, which would suggest a price down around 72 to 7,300. So we are looking at a pretty damn big move coming up soon enough. Now, of course, the resolution of this triangle isn't going to just force price action there at the snap of fingers, of course. But, I would be looking at bounces if we do initiate the downside down here at around 8,900, also the 21 exponential on the weekly. Then here at around 80 84, 8500 gap fill on CMEs, also the 200 exponential moving average on daily spot. And then, of course, then we can talk about the full on measure move to the 618, also the 200 simple and blue 377 exponential moving average, extremely important for long-term trend identification. Now, the reason why I do think it's a little bit appropriate here to be a little bit more on the optimistic side is we've seen this a lot of times before where Bitcoin kind of gets stuck in the mud along a major moving average like this. You get a lot of wicks accumulated in a region, which suggests that we do have some buying pressure there, albeit the bounces have been getting weaker and weaker, to be fair. We've seen this many times where Bitcoin will have like these nasty downside moves and then get no fall through, which we've gotten so far. We're still creating higher lows as it stands. As it stands, this could change at a drop of a dime. But it reminds me similar to what we saw right over here when Bitcoin gets stuck along this region, and during the 5,000 saga right here, where it just kind of grinded sideways for quite some time, and then also before the turnaround in March. Not only that, but we can match it up with some fundamental indicators as well. So I'm going to bring up some Bitcoin price models, which this is going to show just a bunch of different moving averages on top of like MBT metrics and realized market cap, which by the way hit a new all-time high, market cap and total cap, all that good stuff. All represented by these. You don't have to know exactly each and every one of them. You just have to understand their interplay with each other. And you can see that once again, they are all trending to the upside, as opposed to what we saw during, of course, the beginning of 2019 when they were all, stuck kind of parallel to each other, which suggests that we're in obviously a long-term downtrend. And once again, we actually do see them trending to the upside, just like we saw right over here coming out of the last bear market and the one prior before that. Not only that, but another fundamental indicator that tracks Bitcoin miners' revenue, essentially, it's called the Bitcoin difficulty ribbon, which speaks to the impact of miner selling pressure on Bitcoin's price action. And this one is also firing off a similar signal to what we've seen coming out of the last couple bear markets as well. If you go over here, if we start off from the beginning, when this ribbon collapses on itself, when it converges, that suggests that we are putting in a major market cycle low, like you see in 2012 right here, in 2014 right here, and early in 2019 right on over here. More importantly, though, when we see these guys diverge from each other, when we see them expand, like you see coming out of this area, that suggests that we are once again gaining momentum in the upwards direction. So we can look at this right here and we see 2 years of price actions just straight to the upside. We look at this one right here, we see another 3 years of price action straight to the upside. And what are we doing right now? We are actually seeing continued divergence between these guys in the more proximal time. So it would suggest that we actually are gaining momentum here. Even though Bitcoin has been going sideways, I would say that it's a little bit appropriate at this moment in time to be in some ways optimistic. The question is, though, do we come down to about mid 7,000s first before continuing to the upside, or do we just go straight from there? And that I would say really comes down to what we're now going to talk about is momentum oscillators and then of course the breakage of this formation. But we already spoke about that. I think that's a more obvious way. But if we look at our momentum oscillators, the good old MOM oscillators here, we will see that daily Stokes are pointed back up, and these have been more or less accurate in this formation. We also do see a little bit of divergence there as well. Not anything too crazy to talk about. My own indicator, the daily Joule, is actually firing off a small. It's certainly not a perfect certainly not a perfect buy signal, but it's a small-ish buy signal. It's kind of like cutting hairs right here. If you go down to a 12-hour, it's actually it might actually be setting up for a decent one. But something to keep in mind, and would suggest that at the very least, we probably the longer that Bitcoin goes sideways within this region, actually the better it's the better acting we would say it is. RSI on all of our higher timeframes is more or less neutral as it stands. Looks to me like RSI is going to be resilient getting out of the bearish control zone here. So as long as we kind of hold up above there, I would still kind of hold a little bit of optimism for this asset. But again, at the end of the day, man, it only matters which way we actually break this triangle, and that would be the next big thing. If Bitcoin heads back down below 98.50, I would probably say that's. I don't know how many more times we can test 98.50 without breaking this to the downside.
Yeah, so, man. That was so often. Right. I just wanted to quickly intervene here, man. During your whole monologue, I wanted to ask but you answered them all. Like, that was amazing. First of all, still there are like 1 or 2 questions left. Yeah. And first of all, I want to mention what you said is very important. This consolidation was so important for Bitcoin. Some people are bored or they are angry because like they need volatility, they need sick gains seconds or like, I don't know. But in the end, it was very good. We made also some videos. I don't know, Crown, if you know it, the golden ratio multiplier, which is derived from the Fibonacci sequences. And this one suggests that when the Bitcoin price would have gone even higher in July, then the major ups, like we would have maybe hit the all-time high, but that would it be already for the bull market? We had to shake out these hands. We needed this consolidation period in order for the Bitcoin price to have way more room to grow. So that was actually a very good thing. And what you mentioned now is that this indicator, also the volatility going down, it is not giving us a clear direction whether we will break to the upside or to the downside. In our opinion, of course, man, I mean, we cannot know, and we can go to the downside, but usually would you agree upon, especially if you look at April or if you look at November last year, that it usually, when the volume goes down like that and the other indicators are also pointing in that direction, that the price goes where the trend is. So in November we had the bear market, and the likelihood with the descending triangle and also with the volume going down, Bollinger Band squeezing, the likelihood was higher to go down. And on the flip side, in April, of course, the likelihood was slightly higher to break to the upside. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, exactly. So, right now we're just looking for clues on what kind of eggs the statistics a little bit more in the favor of the bulls side here. And I do think that, based off of actually more fundamental things, they actually do have a little bit more things in their favor right now. So I would be cautious to play the downside until we actually fully and formally break that area that we spoke about. That's at the point where I think it's actionable. Beforehand, it's still a little bit, a little bit premature.
Yes. So also we are not by far not in the end of this symmetric triangle everyone is looking at. But what you will be definitely doing, and this is just what I think due to the monologue you had, you will be looking out for a breakout trade maybe. And if so, what will be your entry points?
Yeah, so, it's hard to say, right? I actually typically don't trade breakouts. What I'll do is I'll buy the support test like right around here, and then it just happens to be the next one that actually, breaks it out, right? So I've actually tried trades along this 98 to 9900 level, the whole way through. And of course, none of them have actually gotten the breakout trade. But if I was going to do a breakout trade, the way that I would do it is putting back on all these babies once again, is I'd wait for a daily to close at the very least back above this last little high right here, which is about 12,150 to 12,200. I think that's the earliest time where I'd feel comfortable with looking for that breakout trade, and then start targeting 15,000 and likely beyond at that point in time. I don't think that Bitcoin would really stop at 15,000 except for just a short consolidation most likely.
Nice, man, nice. So everyone who was interested in some kind of a trading setup, be very cautious with that. As you know, breakout trades with the volatility of Bitcoin and with the wicks, especially on high leverage, they can be dangerous, guys. So definitely be aware of that. And that was great, Crown. And I mean, we are only 12 and a half minutes in, but like you brought so much value. Everyone who is actually interested, that he has courses, but he also has a lot of free stuff. And as he has said in the last episode, the free stuff will be enough for most of everyone watching. Nevertheless, if you are interested, there is a link in the description also to his courses and also to his YouTube channel, because not being subscribed to his YouTube channel is basically like, I don't know, you just have to do it. It takes a second and you will get notifications to this crazy content. So thank you so much for that, Crown. And also, just in the end, we had the trading setup, we had your predictions, this indicator which has fired up. Do you have any kind of time frame you are looking out for the Bitcoin price to break out of this symmetrical triangle? Is it in September? Is August likely, or more September beginning, and something like that?
I would say, okay, so when we're looking at a triangle like this, the apex is coming in. The apex would be coming in around early October, and the general rule of thumb is, statistically speaking, these become extremely likely to break once they're about 69 to 75% full, which would put us right about, actually, in about a week and a half to 2 weeks. So early to middle September, which we're pretty much right at September already. It's only 3 days away. So it's coming sooner rather than later, I would say. So if you're bored during this action right here, I completely understand that. But Bitcoin's going to move at the exact most boring time, just like what you saw in March, like what you saw in November.
It is always when the people are bored the most, when the YouTube
no
views
one's paying
are the
attention, and then
lowest
you just run
possible.
it.
Like you can watch at the YouTube views also. Like that's amazing, man. Especially the day you pointed out before, 8th or 9th, that would be great because I'll be in Stockholm with the MMCrypto team, also with Carl and Ivan on Tech. If it breaks on that day, we will have the best collaboration ever, man. I actually cannot wait for that. So thank you so much. Maybe we can go back into the face mode and have a quick chat in the end. Also for everyone watching, you probably already know and you are bored AF about it. We have a Bybit collaboration, but on top of that, we also have a $1,000 giveaway. There are 3 simple steps you can follow. It takes like 20 seconds and you are in the poll for the $1,000 giveaway. For now, it's like 6 or 7 people in there. I mean, the likelihood is pretty high for 20 seconds of work, so make sure you check it out in the pinned comment, also where you find Crown's videos. So now, Crown, I think your day just started. You have a lot of stuff to do. Do you have anything to say before we wrap up today's episode?
Oh, hey, man, I just want to say thank you. You know, it's always a pleasure speaking with you, Chris. It's always a pleasure speaking with the community here. And thanks again for having me on as I muddle up my words once again.
All good, man. All good, man. You are like one of the best streamers. The amount of words per minute is definitely the highest for you. For everyone who watched it and who didn't get anything, just go back into the episode and make like 0.75 times the speed, and then you will actually hear everything. So thank you so much. All the links for Crown in the description, in the pinned comment. Make sure you check it out. Thank you so much for being here, Crown, and everyone, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you smash up the like button. Join the comment section. We will try to answer each and every comment. There's a Bybit tutorial just popping up right below his lovely face. So make sure you tickle it and you click it, and we will see each other at the next one of MMCrypto. And as always, guys, bye-bye.